Hello and good morning. Here's a plan for Friday, September 11th, and this is going to be a distance learning day for everybody. So you want to look at the daily folder in Schoology, of course, just like you have all week. And then assuming that you got the pre-lab from yesterday done, then you want to start in the scientific method lab. Okay, so going over to Schoology, in the September 11th folder, you'll find a link to this screencast in that folder, and then you'll also find the scientific method lab assignment. So when you click on that, it'll open up the page, and you'll see a link to the scientific method lab sheet, and then the directions. So you want to open up the lab sheet and make a copy of that and make it yours. And then when you open up the sheet looks like this right here. So first of all, let's see. You want to figure out your group. So if you work in a group, there's a couple things I ask. First of all, only work with people in your class period. You can work up to a group of 4, no more than that, please. And if you do work as a group, only have one person in your group submitted on Schoology when you're all done. All right, and of course you can do this individually. All right, and what I mean by working in a group is you're just going to share the document between everyone in the group, and then you're working together virtually. All right. So the lab activity that you're going to do deals with a PhET simulator on diffusion, and diffusion is when you randomly mix gas particles. Now, there's different factors that will affect how fast gases will mix together, and that's what you're going to explore. So this PhET simulator, when you open up the link, there's a link here, there's another link down below on this document. But when you open this up, you're going to have some different variables that you can manipulate, and then there's also a timer option that you're going to have to use. So you're going to I would practice with it first, all right, just to see what it looks like, manipulate the different variables, and then you want to choose one of the following questions as a starting point for an experimental group. We'll write, run, and evaluate. So you're just going to pick one of these. So the 4 options are: how does the number of particles affect the rate of diffusion? How does the size, radius of the particles affect the rate at which the substances diffuse? How does the mass of the particles affect the rate at which the substances diffuse? And how does the temperature of the particles affect the rate at which the substances diffuse? So all 4 of these options deal with how quickly the gases will diffuse. So they're all going to be the same way in that regard. But you're going to pick which of these variables, which of these 4 variables you're going to test. So regardless of which one you pick, what you're going to measure is the time that it takes for the gases to be evenly mixed. So what that means is when you start off the simulator, you have the gases on separate sides. When you take away the barrier, then the gases will start to mix. When you take away the barrier, you also want to start the timer that's in the top left of the simulator. You're going to stop the timer when the 2 bars meet. So there's a bar for the gas on the right. It starts off down here. There's a bar for the gas on the left. It starts off right there. When those 2 bars meet somewhere towards the middle, you stop the timer, and that's going to be the measurement that you have to record. All right. So then the next step, you're going to write a hypothesis. And the hypothesis, you want to be sure to be clear about what you're testing and what you expect to see as a result. So you want to say, well, what are you going to change, and how is it going to affect the rate of diffusion? Will it increase it? Will it decrease it? And then you just identify the different variables. You say what the experimental setup is going to look like, as in what are the control group, what's the experimental group 1 and 2, and really the only difference between these groups is the one variable that you're testing. All right, so you want to keep everything else the same, from one group to the next except for the independent variable. Then run the experiment, and here's another link for the lab. Record the data in this data table. It's all set up for you. Yeah, replace independent variable and dependent variable with what you're doing in the lab. Again, the independent variable is what you're changing. The dependent variable, which should be the same for everybody, it should be the time that it takes for diffusion, for the time that it takes for the gases to mix. Let's label it that way. The time that it takes the gases to mix will be the dependent variable. That will be measured in seconds, and that's going to go in this right-hand column. Then the next step is you're going to graph this. And you have some options for graphing. You can either write it up on paper. Now, if you're in class, you can pick up some paper from me, or you can just, if you have graph paper at home, you can use that. And then if you write it up, just take a photo and insert that. Or if you use an app on your computer, that's great. Just make sure you insert that. And then at the end, answer the 2 conclusion questions, and you basically want to look at does your data support your hypothesis, and why or why not. You're starting this lab today on Friday the 11th. You'll also have next Monday the 14th to work on this, so it's not due today. You'll have next Monday to work on it, and then it's going to be due on Tuesday. All right, so again, any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, good luck with this. Have a great day. Bye.